Hello, and welcome back to the Monitoring Student Activity and Performance Part 3 of the Blackboard Black Belt course. In the last video, we learned how to create calculated and weighted columns. We also learned how to set the external grade in the Grade Center. In this video, we will continue exploring Blackboard's Grade Center by taking a closer look at the Manage menu. Hovering your mouse over the Manage menu discloses a variety of different options for the instructor. In the Manage menu, let's begin by looking at the Column Organization menu item. This is a very powerful area within the Grade Center. Getting familiar with all the options in here is well worth your time. As with most other pages in Blackboard, you can click on the More Help link to find more information on the page's features and options. We'll be returning to the column organization window throughout this video as we add more features. So for now, let's just discuss a few of the main features and then move on. It's good to realize that each column in the full Grade Center is shown as a row in the column organization window. We can rearrange the columns in the full Grade Center by dragging and dropping the items here in the column organization page. Moving a Grade Center item up on this page moves it to the left in the full Grade Center view. Likewise, move an item down on this page moves it to the right in the full Grade Center view. Each item also has a checkbox next to it. Instructors can check an item in the column organization page and choose to hide the selected items, show the selected items if the item is currently hidden, and move specific items to the Show in All Grade Center view area. You can also change the category of an item or add it to a different grading period. This page also allows you to view all the due dates and all the points possible for every one of your assignments all in one place. Pretty handy. As you may have noticed, all the assignments and columns in our Grade Center are not assigned to a grading period. We will discuss how to do this a little later in this video. It was mentioned that instructors can choose to show or hide specific columns in the Grade Center. Please note that hiding an item using this option only hides the Grade Center item from the instructor's view, not from the student's view. In order to hide an item from a student's My Grades view, that must be done from the full Grade Center. I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. An instructor might want to hide a grade column for temporary purposes to make it easier for him or her to work in the full Grade Center. This is especially useful when you have a lot of assignments in your Grade Center and you don't want to have to scroll a lot. To hide an item, simply click the checkbox next to the item's name. Next, click on the Show Hide button. Choose the Hide Selected Column option. Then click Submit to commit your changes. The columns you have selected are now hidden from you in the full Grade Center view. Now, let's look at how you can hide a grade column from students. Start by locating the column you wish to hide. Click on the column's More Options icon. Next, select the Hide from Student On/Off option. You will immediately notice a circle with a red line through it next to the column's heading. This is a quick visual check for you to know that the student cannot see this item in their My Grades view. Let's continue to browse the Manage menu. We will return to column organization shortly. But for now, let's take a look at grading periods. Grading periods are a great way for instructors to sort their assignments into sections based on the due dates for those assignments. To create a grading period, click the Create Grading Period button in the top left of the page. Give your grading period a name. I'll name mine Unit 1. Next, add a description if you would like. Then, set the grading period's date range. If you're unsure of the exact date range, you can always manually add specific assignments to a specific grading period in column organization. To demonstrate this, let's leave None selected under the grading period dates. Then, click the Submit button. As you can see, our newly created Unit 1 grading period was added to the list. To modify a previously created grading period, hover over the grading period that you would like to edit so that the option menu icon appears. Click the Options menu icon and click Edit. Make any desired changes, then click Submit. Now, let's go back into column organization and manually assign a few assignments to our new unit grading period. Click on Manage and select Column Organization. Check each assignment that you would like to assign to the grading period. Then, click the Change Grading Period button and select the desired option. Those assignments are now organized under the unit's grading period. Clicking the Submit button will return us to the full grade center. We will see that the full grade center is now organized to show these 3 assignments first and then the total grade column. Not quite what we want. So let's go back into the column organization and show you a few more features of this powerful area. The top area of column organization shows all the columns that will be shown in all Grade Center views. Grade Center views are special filtered views of the Grade Center that enable instructors to easily view specific groups, categories, grading periods, etc. We will get into that in more detail later in the video. Any column listed in this top area will show up in all custom Grade Center views that you set up. By default, there are 6 Grade Center columns in this area, but you can add more simply by clicking on the 4-sided arrow icon to the left of the column name and dragging the column to the Show in All Grade Center Views area. Let's move the total, letter grade, and weighted column items into this area. Now these columns will show up in every Grade Center view that we create. This is just what we want. You might have also noticed this little gray bar. Any item you place above this bar will stay frozen to the left of the page in the full Grade Center. This allows the item to be viewable no matter how far to the right you have to scroll to do your work in the Grade Center. Let's move the total, letter grade, and weighted columns above the gray bar to demonstrate. Now the last name, first name, and 3 grade columns are all grayed out in the full Grade Center, and they stay in place when we scroll to the right. One thing to notice is that my letter grade column that I created earlier is using the plus-minus system. This may or may not be the letter grading system that you use. No worries though. We can change that in the Grading Schema section. Let's do that now. First, hover over the Manage menu. Then, click the Grading Schema option. By default, Blackboard has one grading schema already set up for instructors. We can add a new grading schema, or we can revise the default. For this demonstration, we're just going to revise the default letter grading schema. To modify a previously created grading schema, hover over the grading schema that you want to edit. Click the Options menu icon, then click Edit. I'm going to leave the name the same, but I do want to remove this plus or minus system. This is easily accomplished by clicking the Delete Row link to the right of the row or rows that you want to remove. Notice that we can't remove the top row, but that's okay. We can rename it later. Now that we have all the extraneous rows removed, we can rename the A+ row to just A. Set the grades scored between options to the correct values for our grading schema. One thing to keep in mind when setting these options is that Blackboard is very literal. If you set an A to be 90% to 100%, a score of 89.99 will be scored as a B. If you plan on rounding your grades, be sure to accommodate for that here. I think I'll be nice and round the grades for the students in this course. So I'm going to make an A be anything from 89.5 to 100%, and then set the remaining letter grades appropriately. If you plan on manually entering letter grades into the full grade center, you may want to consider revising these percentages found under the Will Calculate As column. I don't think I'll be manually entering any letter grades, so I'm just going to leave these values as they are and click Submit. Now we can see that the letter grade column has removed all the plus and minus system. This is just what we wanted. Another way to easily visualize how your students are doing in the course is by using the Grading Color Codes function. This function is found by hovering over the Manage menu, then select the Grading Color Codes option. From here, you will need to check the Enable Grading Color Codes box. Then, set options for grading status and/or grading ranges. For example, let's say I want an easy and colorful way to find all the assignments that are in progress and needs grading. I'd like all the assignments that are in progress to be blue, all the needs grading assignments to be yellow, and an item marked for exempt to be green. I would also like anyone that received an F to show up in red. To do this, I will click the Add Criteria button here. Then, change this option to less than, enter a 49.5 in the percentage field range, and change the background color to red. Then, click Submit. Back in the full grade center, in the top right, click on the Show Color Coding button. Here we can see that there are a few assignments now in yellow, indicating that it's good for me to go ahead and grade them. There are a few assignments in red, indicating that these students aren't doing too well on these assignments. I might want to follow up with these students. That concludes Part 3 of the Monitoring Student Activity and Performance portion of the Blackboard Black Belt course. In this video, we have learned how to effectively manage the full grade center by setting up grading periods, grading schemas, and color codes. In the next video, we will continue exploring the Manage menu. See you soon in Part 4.